stay on the plantation, do what you're supposed to do, pay your taxes.
Which we're presented. Accept the reality with which we're presented.
Close your eyes.
Ms. Downs, does Google think that this is a problem, and what is the solution that you're coming up with to address it? I really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the native content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box on Earth is flat.
Correct.
Forget flat Earth. Let me introduce you to Earth shaped like a pizza. It might look delicious, but it would be a scorching, violent, breathtaking place. Would you dare to live there? There could be anywhere from 10 sextillion to 1 septillion exoplanets in the observable universe, and approximately 0 of those are shaped like a flat planetary pizza. It's gravitationally impossible for a planet to form in a shape like this, because when planets form, they tend to clump all the rock and dust around them evenly in all directions. The most oddly shaped exoplanet scientists have discovered is in the shape of an egg. This exoplanet is called WASP 12b, and it orbits a distant star some 1,200 light years away from us. Now, the reason WASP 12b is shaped this way is due to an overbearing proximity to its star. Yeah, WASP's star pulls on the planet with its enormous gravity, stretching it in the process. But flat planets? Well, if they do exist, we haven't found one yet. But hey, this is what if anything is possible. Even Earth shaped like a mouth-watering pepperoni-covered pie. A pizza-shaped Earth wouldn't be much different from a flat Earth. It would have continents scattered around like pizza toppings and a crust of mountains around its edge. This is making me hungry. Maybe this pizza-shaped Earth would be hit by a lot more meteorites. Well, if it was, that would be the perfect tie-in for the sponsor of today's video, Gentle Bands. Gentle Bands have rings made from all sorts of rare materials, tungsten, meteorites, even dinosaur bones. I got the Oceanus ring, and I love it. It's made with tungsten, and the quality is just amazing. It's like a piece of history I can touch and feel. It's from their new collection, Athlos, which is inspired by Greek athleticism and mythology. It represents competition and being able to conquer any challenges you face. As part of the new collection, you can get cufflinks, so I got the Gear Chronicles. Just check out the little details on these things. Have you ever seen a cooler cufflink? And let's say you work out or play sports. Well, most of the time you can't wear a ring on your finger, but luckily for you, Gentle Bands has a chain that you can keep your ring on, so you can keep that special item close to you at all times. If you're interested in getting one of these, I'd hop on it fast. Gentle Bands is currently offering free engravings. Better yet, if you click on the link in the description and use my discount code WHATIF, you'll be able to get 25% off your order. Okay, now let's check back and get a slice of our pizza Earth. If this slice of planetary pie is anything like what the flat earthers consider a flat Earth to be, a pizza-shaped Earth would be in for a wild ride. Yeah, flat earthers don't believe in gravity. They believe in universal acceleration. They think that all planets constantly accelerate upward through space at 9.8 meters per second squared. That means that every second, our flavorful pizza-shaped Earth would move faster and faster. It would start at 9.8 meters per second, and then the next second, it would move at 19.6 meters per second, then at 29.4 meters per second, and so on. This acceleration would be like a new gravity, preventing everything on its surface from flying away into space. But there's a problem. Pizza-shaped or not, Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and that's a lot of seconds. After 4.5 billion years of constant acceleration, the pizza-shaped Earth would move at about this speed. Yeah, that is 4.63 billion times faster than the speed of light. Let that number sink in for a moment. And moving on. Not only does that violate the laws of physics, require infinite energy, and shred this pie-shaped Earth into atoms, but it would also break space-time itself. But hey, this might be one way to invent time travel. Luckily for you down on Earth, it wouldn't mean instant death. As soon as Earth approached the speed of light, time dilation would kick in. For you and everyone else on Earth, time would come to stand. You'd be trapped in one moment forever and ever. But all of this is physically impossible. Gravity is real. And as far as real science goes, well, let's just say things would get out of hand quickly. If we take a look at the entire pizza Earth, the center of gravity would be right here in the middle. At this point, gravity would feel like a regular Earth's gravity. But further from this center, gravity would start pulling you sideways and downward at the same time. At the edge of this Earth pizza, it would pull on you almost horizontally. Then it would get weaker and weaker closer to the crust. Now, you could jump a lot higher and scale those mountains at the edge more easily due to the weaker gravity. It'd kind of feel like you're in the Dune movie. Sand everywhere. Gravity would pull all of Earth's oceans closer to the center. This would be the best place to live on a pizza-shaped Earth because it would pretty much be like living on a regular sphere-shaped Earth. The oceans would regulate the climate around this area, and it'd be pretty balmy, and around the edges it would be mostly rivers, lakes, and severe dust storms. Yeah, the further from the center of this hot mess of a pie you get, the weather would get incredibly worse. As the winds are pulled inward to the center, they would create constant storms. The edges of this pizza Earth would be cold and dry. Cold pizza. Excuse me. The atmosphere would be thinner here, so you'd have trouble catching your breath. Living on the edge of this pizza Earth wouldn't be much different from living on Mars. I don't know why you would want to settle there, but if you did, you'd have to build a reinforced, tilted house to account for the change in gravity. Another option would be a semi-underground home. Or, if you want to get futuristic, maybe build a geodesic dome like this one. Either way, your home would need to be able to withstand harsh weather conditions, like dust storms and extreme temperatures, while you'd have to adjust to living without a sufficient breathable atmosphere. Yikes, not fun. Now, if Earth was shaped like a slice of pizza rather than the whole pie, well, the gravity would pull towards its center right here. This planetary slice would need to be thicker to maintain some geological stability. If the pizza Earth was too thin, it would lose its magnetic field and all its atmosphere, all the while collapsing under its own weight. Now, in order to stand a chance on this delicious Earth, you'd really need the magnetic field. Without it, you'd get cooked by extreme solar radiation. You'd also suffocate because a magnetic field holds a planet's atmosphere in place, and that includes your oxygen. Now, to keep a proper internal structure with a magnetic field and a breathable atmosphere, well, this slice of a planet would need to be at least 6,000 kilometers thick. That's about half as wide as our round Earth, and even then, you still might get cooked. That is, if you believe the flat Earth theories. All because, according to the flat earthers, the sun wouldn't be like the big old star we know and love. On this pizza Earth, the sun would be tiny and hang much closer to the surface. It would be so bright and so close that it would be emitting immense amounts of solar radiation. Now, this would create hotspots directly beneath the star. If you think summers are hot now, well, on this pizza Earth, it would be literally hell. At night, things would cool off a little, but as soon as the first rays of sunshine hit your face in the morning, well, you better be wearing a fire protection suit. But that's if our cosmic pie was more like a flat Earth, which we know is not physically possible. Sorry, flat earthers, sorry. Here's a more realistic take on the pizza Earth. It would still orbit the sun, and as it would rotate on its axis, all of this would create seasons and a day-night cycle, so you'd be all good there. And the moon would revolve around this pizza Earth, keeping the tidal forces in check. It really doesn't sound so bad until you start thinking about climate. Just like on a whole pizza-shaped Earth, the center area on a pizza slice Earth would have a mild climate, as all the oceans would be pulled there. And closer to the edges, gravity would get weaker, and the atmosphere would get thinner, the land would get drier, and this would be an area of extreme dust storms and harsh temperatures. And since the middle of this new Earth would be covered in ocean, you'd be forced to live on the continents scattered around the edges. Unless you want to live underwater. Life on this Earth wouldn't be anything like what it used to be. I mean, at this point, you might as well go settle on Mars, right? But that's a story for another What If.
Hi, I'm Dick Cavett, and
You're not.
When working 12 to 14-hour days aboard the International Space Station, caffeine is, well, a must for many astronauts. On average, an astronaut may consume about 100 milligrams of caffeine per day. That's equivalent to 1 cup of coffee, 2 cups of tea, or about 1 can of a typical energy drink. But in space, they can't just pour a cup of joe. To get their morning brew, astronauts typically sip from a plastic pouch through a straw. However, astronaut Don Pettit wanted the comforting feeling of sipping from a mug in his hand, so he invented another way, the zero-gravity cup, also known as the space cup. The cup relies on surface tension and the laws of physics to keep the liquid in place, enabling the drinker to take spill-free sips. Just how does the space cup work? In microgravity, liquids will form in globs, or bubbles. So to keep coffee from floating away, the space cup's specially designed shape ensures that as crew members sip, the liquid flows through an angled channel, creating an experience like drinking from a mug on Earth. But there's a wrinkle, getting the water for their brew. Aboard the space station, crew members actually need to turn yesterday's coffee into today's coffee. They use a water dispensing unit that takes recycled liquids and the moisture gathered from the air to provide hot, potable water for the crew. Then they will take a plastic pouch loaded with freeze-dried coffee grounds, connect it to the unit, and fill the pouch with hot water. From there, crew members can sip their fresh Java. Now, one big question looms for the future. Exactly how much coffee would be enough to sustain a mission to Mars?
We're going to play a little game here with two alternatives, right? And you or I, whoever the person deciding between these two is, I'd like for you to pretend you're a world leader. You're not a good one. You're evil and you'd like to rule the people underneath your thumb. Or you're looking to maintain control over people. Bear with me and envision these two alternatives. In the first, we have the opinion, the theory, the teachings, the paradigm that man is nothing but a carnivorous monkey in outer space, floating on a rock for no reason, in the middle of nowhere by accident. And this all got kicked off 43 bajillion years ago on a Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. And they can determine this with their color star charts and moon dust and things like that, going on to a long, vast existence of nothing, just surviving by instinct, on par with an animal. Justification for any morals, ethics, no real pursuit of true happiness, no pursuit of harmony and understanding here on the Earth. And this is all what we're living in today. There's no spiritual accountability. There's no understanding of beauty. Well, on the other alternative, on this side, we have a purposeful creation, a purposeful design to not only the human being, but the entire Earth, the laws of nature. No theories, only laws ingrained into existence, woven into the fabric of reality by the designer, the creator, not in a linear sense, not, back then, this many years ago or that. It doesn't work that way. This is the fabric of what we live in. There is a value placed on beauty. Why? Because God has a beautiful creation. In order to return the favor, mankind has an impulse to create beautiful things. In recent times, this has been robbed from us, but nonetheless, it's in the soul of every human being to not only value beauty, to seek it out, to place a high, high emphasis on it. This is how the ancients maintained their ways of life. Geometric, proportional laws of beauty.
It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent, for the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state.
No one likes to be wrong, especially ignorant people. No one wants to figure out that their understanding of the world is flawed or foolish. That's why narrow-minded people display an unrelenting loyalty to their opinions.
It starts super early.
One of the first things we're taught
as a baby, as a toddler.
The Earth is round and they just pound it into you.
And most of us go through our lives without ever doubting this assertion.
What you learned in kindergarten.
It generally goes unchallenged as an obvious fact, rather than a debatable claim.
kindergarten. There's no going back.
The broad masses of a nation are always more easily corrupted in the deeper strata of their emotional nature than consciously or voluntarily. And thus, in the primitive simplicity of their minds, they're more readily fall victims to the big lie than the small lie. since they themselves often tell small lies in little matters, but would be ashamed to resort to large-scale falsehoods. It would never come into their heads to fabricate colossal untruths, and they would not believe that others could have the impudence to distort the truth so infamously. Even though the facts, which prove this to be so, may be brought clearly to their minds, they will still doubt and waver and will continue to think that there may be some other explanation.
I'm talking about the universe, black holes, the Big Bang, time travel, God. But what I'm going to do is teach you how to think, train your mind. In the old days, we called it brainwashing, where you repeat something and it becomes true. That's hijacking this feature of our evolutionary brain. So you try to sift through what is true, and it must be that which was repeated often enough. You are comfortable in your ignorance, and you don't even know your ignorance because you came to it from having learned, but only up to a point. They're not only controlling the information you receive, they're shaping how you receive it, which has an effect on how you then behave. How you create a worldview. You create an understanding of how things are, either because someone convinced you or you convinced yourself. Now there's a gap where there's some information that conflicts with it. So you're going to say, if you cherish this worldview, that information that conflicts with it was falsified, or that was wrong. They don't know what they're doing. You can maintain your worldview.
If we hold on, like, I spent so many years learning something, and now the world has changed.
The interesting thing about an objective truth is that it's true no matter what. Imagine that.
People need to understand to control their minds, otherwise other people will control it for them.
You have no foundation in objective reality, it can be dangerous. If your personal belief system does not have correspondence in objective reality, that's an unhealthy situation for civilization to be in.
There's no going back.
Kyrie Irving? I don't know, did you say
Don't get me started.
Point guard for the freaking Nets. He went to Duke University. What did you make of the Kyrie stuff? Actually, seriously believe that the Earth is flat.
I'm going to say this is anti-intellectual, and it's anti-science.
Go read a book, an actual book.
It should embarrass you. It should embarrass your families. It should embarrass the fine schools you went to. It should embarrass the NBA.
I don't think this is funny, actually. Like, we can laugh at it, but I don't think it's funny.
Let's take a quick moment of silence for that thought.
I mean, that's the dumbest thing a public figure has said in my lifetime. It is one of them. I really don't think it's funny.
LeBron James spoke on this, but he didn't give his opinion one way or the other.
Kyrie, Kyrie is flat, right?
Yeah, so be.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver responded to everyone's comments saying that though he and Kyrie went to the same college, Duke, they must have taken different courses. Just in case you were persuaded by Kyrie, here are some recent photos of the Earth from our friends at the Internet. I mean, look, he's questioning whether the moon landing really existed, saying there's no real pictures of Earth. Do you have to question this?
No, that's an issue that shouldn't even be brought up. That is something that should not be debated. Does not belong in front of an audience getting debated.
I think you can be smart, Scotty, right, and say you want to be a critical thinker and intellectually curious without attacking hardcore science.
Right.
Right?
Many years.
This is a thing for you. And you just ponder the potential realities of the world and its possible roundness.
Spinning. Spinning. Hope it was a dare.
Kyrie Irving thinks the world is flat.
Not another one. Does that mean you don't believe in slavery? Does that mean you don't believe in the Revolutionary War? That is a stupid comment. Don't say it again.
A very small step to becoming a Holocaust denier.
Yes, don't do it.
He was asked about the pictures that show the round Earth, and he defended his beliefs by saying this.
Does it matter?
Yes.
For what?
Well, I mean,
what's so important about that?
You have millions of fans.
Out of all the podcasts, that's what you took out of it? The flat Earth?
You were asked again about
yeah.
it.
And the fact that could be news all over the world just shows you how.
What does it show?
How well it is. I mean, the fact that it's a social phenomenon that Harry thinks the world is flat is hilarious. The fact that it's even a conversation is hilarious. You know, that could actually be news. It's hilarious.
You said that it's a shame or that it's funny that is something that's news.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious.
We're in an age where people throw around terms like fake news and they talk about things that aren't true and aren't real. So then you come out and say something about the Earth being round or flat. I mean, the science would suggest that it is round.
Yeah. Interesting. I think people should do their own research, man.
You've seen pictures of the planet, right? Like it's a circle.
I've seen a lot of things that that my educational system has said that was real and turned out to be completely fake. I mean, I don't mind going to Instagram and telling me my thoughts, but I just feel like that the fact that it's even a conversation is hilarious. You know, that could actually be news. It's hilarious. That doesn't matter to you, like that I think that the world is flat or I think that the world is round.
Well, again, you have lots and lots of fans. And
that affects something?
He still thinks the Earth is flat.
Yeah, accident guy. Yeah, accident guy.
Slave has escaped the plantation. Call the dogs. Light up the searchlights. Send out the helicopters. We must get him back onto the plantation. We must bring him to heel. This Kyrie Irving thinking he can just post things that are true. It's bad and it's wrong, and you should hate Kyrie Irving and both pity him and feel sorry for him for falling for this trap. But unfortunately, in there, we have to signal to people how they're supposed to feel about the thing before they even know what the thing is. We have to prime their emotional state to accept our perspective on events using words like unfortunately. They're thinking we're going to shut you up. You are not going to counter our narrative. You are not going to speak out of turn, causing all sorts of outrage and paranoia across the World Wide Web. That can be wrong all you want. It's when you're right that they target you. It's when you call them out. It's when you decode their plan and give out those codes to the world. That's when they target you. It's amazing. By the way that they react, by the way that they freak out at this, you can tell they're desperate to not let this happen again. We have to unify together in outrage and hatred against Kyrie Irving. So anybody else daring to think about doing this will go, ooh, I don't want to go through what Kyrie Irving's going through. It's amazing. It really is amazing how their reaction shows how effective this stuff is.
What do you make of the Kyrie stuff?
The Earth is flat.
Shaq, what are you talking about?
The Earth is flat.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's
yes,
not.
it is.
If you dug straight through your backyard, you can get to China.
No, you can't.
The world is not flat.
Yes,
we've seen the Earth.
No, we haven't seen anything.
They can't control you. They can't. They try to suppress you, categorize.
They can't control you. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Shaq. They can control Shaq. That was a joke about the world being flat, right?
Was it? Of course it was.
I heard you say that people were getting all excited. Like, there's no way that he wasn't joking in this situation.
They got upset.
They can control Shaq.
One primetime newscast. Fox 4 News at 10.
The question over whether fluoride is safe taking center stage in Naples. One resident trying to convince the city council to stop using it to treat drinking water. Four Corners' Andre Senior bringing us both sides of this hot debate.
Most of us have been drinking water with fluoride in it for years, even decades, but one man says it's downright toxic. David Bolduc is firmly against using fluoride in the drinking water. In fact, on Wednesday, he urged the Naples City Council to stop using it in the water supply. The chemical has been used in water supplies across the country since the 1960s. Medical professionals say it helps prevent tooth decay in children in poor communities that are not exposed to brushing their teeth on a regular basis.
In order to ingest it, you have to get a prescription from a doctor, and that's for everyone. So adding a drug to the water supply is, it goes beyond medical ethics.
Bolduc was heavily outnumbered in the City Council meeting. Nearly 24 dentists, teachers, and healthcare professionals turned out to counter his claim that fluoride can be dangerous. The director of the Collier County Health Department said that repeated tests have shown that water fluoridation is safe.
This is clearly a moment for public health to step up and say, no, you need to look at the 60 years of research, 60 years of experience we have with this, and continue fluoridation in the water supply.
The City Council did vote not to remove fluoride from the drinking water, but a few council members did vote to remove it, which means we'll be hearing a lot more about this issue in the near future. In Naples, Andre Sr., Fox 4, in your corner.
All right, thank you, Dre. What do you think about this? Should fluoride be removed from the city's water? Sound off at fox4now.com or call us 239-206-FOX4.
Incredible views of that land and burn for the Falcon 9 surrounding this Google now. And there was that side. Boom.
Boeing Starliner astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore are still stranded in space. They have now been in orbit for 50 days on a mission that was originally supposed to last only a week. Williams and Wilmore were launched on a test flight of a Starliner spacecraft on June 5, 2024. Starliner has experienced multiple helium leaks and several thrusters have malfunctioned, leaving the astronauts in a precarious situation. NASA and Boeing are working tirelessly to diagnose and resolve these issues to ensure the astronauts' safe return to Earth.
Is it flat?
Correct.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. Go, go.
Days of days, pseudoscience just a big charade. Making theories they just can't explain. On philosophically biased claims. Days of days, we break away just like a renegade. So pay attention, gonna get weighed. The school and globes tell they all awake. School and globes with diplomas and a chip on the shoulder. Debate is over, mighty soul, the solar system is coded. Can't go back once you heard the facts. You make a pact, never take a back. School and ballers and the followers that give them the dollars. They try to holler in the chat, but you're a five, not a scholar. They hating God, that's why they attack. The earth is flat no matter how much they lie. Days of days, pseudoscience just a big charade. Making theories they just can't explain. On philosophically biased claims. Days of days, we break away just like a renegade. So pay attention, gonna get a grade. School and globes tell they all away.
You are someone that I could talk to about the flat earth conspiracy. You are someone that I could talk to about the flat earth conspiracy. You don't believe in flat earth, but you can kind of understand where I'm coming from.
What if I finance a research ship and make a documentary? I can go away for 3 months. I will pay.
How much money can you raise? We're going to need a...
Are you guys going to the moon or in orbit?
Okay, you raise the money for a trip
No,
to
there's no raise the money. I got the money.
Okay, you
I got the money.
Listen, this is the deal. This is the deal.
To the very latest on the accelerating landslide in Rancho PV. While a state of emergency is in place there, impacted homeowners are worried about the future. Those who study the Earth's movement say California is especially at risk with this. More now from NBC4's Hetty Chang.
Geological experts remind us that the ground beneath us is moving all the time, everywhere. Take, for example, the property here. This is the old City Hall in San Clemente. The city put it up for sale 3 years ago, and it's still for sale 9 years from now.
Well, every time it rains, I wonder.
That map you saw in our story is a really useful tool if you're curious about the land movement in your neighborhood. We posted the link on our website.
History is written by those who dare to dream big and do the impossible. The impossible. The impossible. Dream big, the impossible. What?
Fast, so that'll hang on for a while. Okay. Take two. Amazing. Well, not too bad. All keys. Brilliant. Why get a hot water service?